Chapter 101. The weapon that governs a country is never a dead thing, but ourselves. Scenes of press conferences in various countries. The issues that the public are concerned about are explained one by one. Current natural disaster. People from various countries who have experienced several rounds of monsters are now on the verge of collapse. It rained heavily. Floods of various sizes have been brewing, destroying countless houses and homes, and causing a large number of casualties. Economic losses. There are countless more, but the heavy rain brought by the fourth round of Monster Fuju has a stubborn unknown energy group lying across it. With current technological means, it simply cannot be destroyed. Countries can only do their best, just like China, to move people to higher ground. Hopefully, the heavy rain will stop on its own after this round of trials. Sakura Country Emergency Department. China is also going to hold a press conference? When a senior executive heard about this, he sneered, "I thought China was so strong, but it was dragged down by the flood and the people's morale was in chaos?" In words, with a little schadenfreude, others also shook their heads and quickly started the live broadcast of Huaxia's press conference. Our country has held 7 press conferences, but they have had no effect. I want to see how China will fool those stupid people. Another short executive sneered, looking like he was watching a show. Since China blatantly refused to support the mysterious weapon, they have a lot of dissatisfaction with China, hold a grudge, but I dare not speak out in anger. After all, China's national power is no longer what it was 100 years ago and can be crushed by them. Now China has crushed them in all directions. In terms of military strength, it is even more difficult for them to catch up and cannot be easily offended. Gaul Disaster Response Center. China's press conference? After hearing the news, the middle and senior management of the response center quickly gathered in a conference room. It's not that they want to see China's jokes, I just want to learn some methods from China's press conference. As the fourth round of trials proceeds, there have been a large number of suicides among the people in Gaul, instead of facing the monster. These people who believe in Christ Jesus would rather rush to heaven to pray for God's blessing. The people are panicked, incredibly fragile. They held press conferences one after another to call on the people to cooperate with the migration, but to no avail. America, Department of Defense, Huaxia, have you found a way to defeat the mysterious energy group? Looking at the upcoming Huaxia press conference on the screen, Job's eyes flickered. Not long ago, the Mississippi River burst its banks in the United States, causing millions of people to go missing and die. Only this wave it surpassed the number of deaths in the past few rounds of trials. In the face of natural disasters, the public sentiment in the United States is also on the verge of collapse. And their scientific research department is frantically researching ways to decipher the mysterious energy clusters above various cities. It is different from any substantial energy group and cannot be destroyed by the explosive energy of thermal weapons. Based on research, the most feasible way is for Steve to break through to the 4th level, use magic to counter magic. With the help of his powers, destroy the mysterious energy groups above these cities one by one. But the higher the realm, the more Vietnam breaks through. Steve has been stuck in level 3 for a long time. Want a breakthrough? Unless a 4th level 002 imitator is born from the Goo Raising Project, its crystals can be absorbed. China. Press conference scene. At this moment. A large number of reporters gathered in the hall aimed the camera equipment at Wang Yu, the host at the front. Can't wait, asked questions that concerned each other. Minister Wang, we in China had sufficient response strategies in the first 3 rounds of trials and quickly resolved the crisis. Why has this round of trials lasted for 8 days but failed to solve the heavy rain? Minister Wang, scientific research teams from various countries claim that there are mysterious energy groups in the sky above every city. Is it true? Minister Wang, can you announce the number of days that will be spent in these 10 days, the true number of deaths in China? Can we really survive this crisis? Under the lens, the footage from the press conference was simultaneously broadcast live to various TV stations across the country. Questions from reporters, they are all sharp aimed. These questions, it is also what the Chinese people are most concerned about at the moment. Facing various doubts, Wang Yu took a deep breath and said solemnly, I will answer the questions that everyone is concerned about one by one. First of all, the monster crises in the first 3 rounds are all individual disaster, but this round of monsters has brought about derivative disasters. The 2 weapons developed by our country to suppress the country have unparalleled power in killing monsters, but they cannot eliminate the derivative disasters caused by monsters. But please don't worry. Under the leadership of Dean Yang, our country has launched another important national weapon to deal with such derivative disasters. Once it is completed, it can reverse the widespread heavy rains in the country. Speaking of this, Wang Yu paused and looked at the reporters at the press conference. He spoke slowly. As for the number of deaths that everyone is concerned about, so far, in the 8 days of heavy rain, a total of * people have died. He just finished speaking. The cameras at the scene started filming like crazy. On every reporter's face, they all looked shocked. This is the first time since the 4th round of trials that the death toll in the country has been announced. Oh no, for the purpose of stabilizing public sentiment, foreign countries have never announced the deaths in the 4th round of trials, but everyone with a discerning eye knows it. The death toll from heavy rains and floods around the world in the 4th round of trials will definitely not be small, and China, I passed the first 3 rounds perfectly, but so many people died in the 4th round. Don't be too busy being shocked. Most of these people are ordinary people. They were scattered by the floods and were buried in the natural disaster. Wang Yu glanced at the crowd. He said in an extremely sad tone, but there are still disaster relief workers. He said. He turned around and motioned to the people behind him. Rear. On the big screen, disaster relief photos and videos from various cities appeared. Personnel from the military, firefighting, emergency, road administration, volunteer and other departments are running in various cities to rescue the trapped people. Heavy rain in Yunqing caused the reservoir to burst. 20,000 military personnel quickly moved in and evacuated the people from the dangerous area in an orderly manner within 12 hours. Liangqing flooded and the streets were submerged. Due to manpower shortage, Liangchun consciously recruited volunteers, the oldest of whom was 62 years old. Jiaozhou mudslide, college students ran around the streets shouting, carrying the old man fled the area of landslides and mudslides. Zizhou, Wang Yu's throat surged, the low voice echoed throughout the press conference. One after another. One piece at a time, the reporters present were all silent and couldn't help but put down their shooting machines. Actually, the weapon of the country has never been a dead thing like Book of Life and Death, or Demon Mirror, but ourselves. Chapter 102, Disaster, Not Worthy of Being Our Opponent. Wang Yu's words, exploded like thunder at the press conference. Not only did it shock everyone present, but it also spread to every corner of China through live broadcast, arousing resonance in the hearts of countless people there. They all seemed to be frozen at this moment. In front of the TV, in the live broadcast room, and in the sound of the radio, the Chinese people who have just experienced heavy rains and natural disasters are whispering this sentence. 4,000 years ago, we faced floods like the ancient Egyptians. 3,000 years ago, we thought about philosophy like the ancient Greeks. 2,000 years ago, we were fighting like the Romans. 1,000 years ago, we were as rich as the Arabs. Now, we compete with the Americans. For thousands of years, we have been on the world's poker table, but our opponents have changed many rounds. Wang Yu's voice was a little trembling, but it became more sonorous and powerful. Chinese civilization has been passed down for thousands of years, precisely because we do everything by ourselves, believe that man can conquer nature, and never place hope in the so-called gods, immortals and Buddhas. Disaster is coming. Stand forward, fight, and we will always be the ones who are willing to die. The conference site, Wang Yu's voice is still echoing, resounding in everyone's heart. Everyone's chest. As if stirred by an invisible force, his blood boiled, and his eyes shone with unprecedented light. So, compatriots, you don't need to be afraid. Wang Yu faced the camera with a steady voice. This is not the first time we have encountered a disaster, and we are not worthy of being our opponent. Our opponent will always be ourselves. China, Yongchang. Finished, Wang Yu bowed deeply to the camera. At the same time, all over the country heavy rain. It's still pouring, but the 1.4 billion people are already excited. They were all completely ignited by Wang Yu's words. China, Yongchang. Countless people clenched their fists and couldn't help but look out the window, muttered softly to eye in the eyes, but it shined with unprecedented confidence. They all remembered what Yang Emo said before the ancient ancestors passed the trials and left behind many myths and legends. Now, it will be their descendants who will write their own myths and legends. Sakura Country Emergency Department. After watching Hua Xiao's press conference, several president-level executives felt a little resentful, the expression on the face, somewhat ugly. The civilization trial is approaching fiercely, and the monster crisis has enveloped the world, but China actually shouted the slogan, "Disaster is not worthy of being China's opponent," at this press conference. Even inside and outside the words. We are still making fun of countries around the world, intentionally or unintentionally. The only country that can compete with China now is the United States. I don't take these countries seriously at all. China is too arrogant. A senior official stood up with a pale face and cursed angrily. Then I sat back in my seat obediently. Atmosphere exceptionally peaceful. Goal: a disaster response center. I finally understand where China's outrageous self-confidence comes from. A senior executive sighed after watching the press conference. The smile was a little bitter. Since the start of the civilization trial, four waves of monsters have descended, destroy all the small countries around the world. Right now, there are only about 50 countries left in the world. The countries at the bottom are all struggling. You may be destroyed by the monsters in the first 3 rounds at any time. Of course. Except for Pakistan, Iron Country, this time we encountered heavy rain and floods. Again, and the people of all countries suffered a devastating blow, but, in this case, China dared to say such confident words. The opponent is always only itself. This kind of national self-confidence, it is the glory that is engraved in the bones, flowing in the blood, and inherited from the ancestors. Think about it carefully. China has really always been at the top of the world. Maybe at some stage, there are civilizations or countries that can rival them, but time has proven everything in the long history. Those civilizations and countries have long been annihilated and buried without a trace. Only China it continued, still active in the center of the world. Composing their wonderful stories, the United States Department of Defense. Jobs slowly closed the computer screen. The expression seems calm, but inside, there were already turbulent waves. He didn't expect it in this desperate situation. Hua Xiao's press conference was still so inspiring and made people's blood rush. It's him. After listening to the press conference, I was so excited that I couldn't help myself for a long time. The resilience of this nation is so terrifying. He murmured in a low voice with a complicated look on his face. In his opinion, the scary thing about China is not other things, but their resilience. No matter how many disasters we encounter, how many blows have I received, they can always rise again and stand at the center of the world stage again. That's all for thousands of years. No other country has been able to match it. Minister, the National Migration Plan has been formulated. Will it be implemented immediately? At this moment, the secretary came in and interrupted his thoughts. Execute. Jobs pondered for a moment, then nodded. National Migration Plan IT is a plan to deal with the 4th round of disasters that they formulated after research by experts from all walks of life in the United States. To avoid floods, abandon the existing city, the entire population migrated to higher terrain. By the way, how many heads has 004 Rainmaker killed? Subsequently, he looked at the secretary again and asked. In these 8 days, a total of 193 were killed. The secretary turned over the memo in his hand and reported the report. Let the chosen one hold on tighter. Jobs' brows were full of worry, and then he warned, in addition, the cultivation of 4th level 002 imitators cannot be slacked off. We are in urgent need of 4th level combat power to smash those special energy groups. As long as we have at 4th level combat power, they can solve the heavy rain crisis in certain areas and gain a breathing space. Otherwise, as the heavy rain continues, it won't be long. Transportation, communications, and other aspects will be affected. Plants cannot grow, and chain reactions such as food crises occur. The accumulation of many serious diseases will inevitably drag the United States into an abyss of eternal destruction. China, Lindsay based in front of a dark stone monument. It's done. Yang Mo stared at it, suppressing the joy in his heart. Since last opened, after nearly 10 days of continuous energy storage, the stone tablet once again had strange phenomena, shocking. The 4 characters Jixia Academy on the front of the stone tablet shine brightly. It turned into a terrifying pulling force, pulling Yang Mo's consciousness into the dark stone tablet after the world turned upside down. Yang Mo opened his eyes again and found that he was standing at the foot of a mountain wall. Around it is an endless stretch of fertile farmland. The breeze comes slowly, the sun is shining brightly. Hurry up, the mountain leader is going to give a lecture. 2 scholars dressed in ancient costumes looked anxious and passed by Yang Mo. Chapter 103 Quantum Computing Technology, High Energy Particle Beam Technology, it's them again. Yang Mo looked at the backs of the 2 people with a somewhat surprised expression. This scene, it was exactly the same as when he entered Jixia Academy twice before, but China is now in a critical situation, and he has no intention of talking to the 2 of them for the time being. Follow the 2 quickly. We arrived at the gate of Jixia Academy on the mountainside. Meet the teacher. Jing Hezhong bowed and saluted the old man guarding the door. After the wooden door is opened, he hurried towards the square where the lectures were held. Boy, the mountain leader is about to give a lecture. Why are you still standing there? The old man at the gate of the academy noticed Yang Mo and pretended to be angry. Bring the academy token. Same words, interrupted Yang Mo's thoughts. He nodded, handed over the token on his waist. This token was automatically bound to his body after his consciousness entered the stone tablet. It seems it is the certificate for entering Jixia Academy. Later, the old man stepped forward, took his token, he waved his hand and motioned for him to hurry in every scene. They are exactly the same as the previous 2 times. Chief, I'm afraid you don't remember me again. Yang Mo shook his head and walked into Jixia Academy, came to the square where lectures were given. This time, Jing Hezhong, who entered the academy before him, was already sitting on the futon. Ha! The old man who was giving a lecture noticed Yang Mo's appearance and suddenly showed surprise. A new student came today? Come here. The old man waved his hand with a kind face. It is your destiny to enter my academy for the first time. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask me? Yang Mo eyes twinkling. Think briefly. He said, I would like to ask about quantum computing technology. Lindsay based. A certain ward. Dean, are you awake? A group of researchers looked at Yang Mo with concern and surprise. After the experience of the first 2 times, they all know the function of the mysterious stone tablet, which will make Dean Yang unconscious every time it is opened. But after waking up, Dean Yang can bring back an epoch-making technology. What a pity! Every time the steel is charged and turned on, it requires a huge amount of energy. With the energy technology currently mastered by China, with continuous charging, it will take 10 days to open the steel. Quantum computing technology. Yang Mo slowly closed his eyes and recalled what happened in Jixia Academy. The mountain chief really didn't recognize him. Whether it is surprising or heartfelt that he is still the old man guarding the gate, or the mountain leader giving lectures. It's all the same. No memory of him at all. Look for another opportunity next time to explore Jixia Academy. This is the 3rd time he has entered Jixia Academy, but the more contacts he has, the more he feels that there is something behind Jixia Academy. What secrets are hidden? Why does Huaxie Yongcheng be written on the back of the mysterious stone tablet? Why does the mountain chief of Jixia Academy know such advanced scientific knowledge in modern times? Why don't people in Jixia Academy recognize him every time? Shocked, heartbroken, the old man guarding the gate, and the mountain chief, do they really exist, or are they an illusion? He shook his head. Forcibly dispelled many conjectures in his mind. Right now, the most important thing is to find a way to create the weather weapon, Thunder God and Lightning Girl, once it comes out. No matter what incredible abilities the Eldar have in the next 2 rounds, China can deal with it easily and get a chance to breathe. Have enough time. Go to other layouts. Qinling, Lei Gong and Dian Muarandi based in the deserted mountain forest, a huge steel building complex spanning 1,000 meters stands quietly. It is the prototype of Thunder God and Lightning Mother, jointly created by the Research Institute, Science and Technology Department, and Engineering Department. China's most advanced Zhejiang 3 quantum computing prototype. Located in the very center of the complex, and the outside of the building. It is equipped with thousands of small particle collision devices. In the rainstorm of the most authoritative researchers in the field of light quantum in China are standing at the gate of the base, looking forward to it. Dean Yang is here. After seeing Yang Mo arrive, everyone looked happy. Braving the heavy rain, he took the initiative to greet him. Notify everyone that the meeting will begin immediately. Yang Mo quickly walked into the base holding an umbrella, without any pause. Go straight to the conference room. Soon. An emergency meeting was held quietly. Yanjing, Monster Research Institute. Laboratory. Boom. 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 Collision experiments of high-energy particles are continuing. Liu Fuyuan stood outside the experimental device, staring straight ahead. On the forehead. A thin stream of sweat emerged. Teacher, with the latest data, we seem to have succeeded. A young researcher quickly walked up to Liu Fuyuan with the results and said excitedly, 2000 simulation experiments, confirming that the particle burst operation method we analyzed from the 004 Rainmaker horn is feasible. Quick, show me. Liu Fuyuan snatched the data with one hand and started flipping through it quickly. Looking at it, the eyes become brighter and brighter. My body couldn't help but tremble. High-energy particle flow automatically forms a beam. This will be a major breakthrough in the field of particle science. 10 days. He led his particle science team to study in the laboratory for 10 consecutive days, every day, only slept for 2 or 3 hours. Fortunately, after improving their physical fitness, each of them can sustain such high-intensity research work. Finally, the technology that Dean Yang requested was analyzed. With this technology as the core, China will achieve new breakthroughs in the fields of weapons and industry. Particle beam weapons mainly consist of energy, particle sources, particle accelerators, target recognition, tracking, automatic scanning systems, and command and control systems. The key part is the particle accelerator that generates high-energy particle beams. This is exactly the step IT has stuck modern civilization, making it impossible for particle weapons to be truly applied. The high-energy particle automatic beam forming technology they developed can accelerate the electrons, protons or photons generated by the particle source to nearly the speed of light, and use a magnetic field to gather the particles into a dense beam, directly or after removing the charge. It is launched to transmit a huge amount of energy to the target in a very short period of time, causing it to be destroyed or disabled quickly, informed Dean Yang of this good news. He took a deep breath and said quickly to the researcher, Qinling Mountains, Ligang Diamo R&D based in the conference room. Give me some time. How long will it take to complete the update and iteration of 9 Chapter 3? Yang Mo asked in a deep voice as he scanned the people present. Below, researchers in the field of light quantum are staring at a copy of Quantum Computing Technology on the table. It's fascinating to watch. Everyone's face was full of shock. This technology is far more advanced than the optical quantum computing technology used by the Zhejiang 3 prototype. It can be called the ceiling in the field of quantum computing. Zhejiang 3 is one of the most advanced quantum computers in the world, capable of manipulating 255 photons at the same time and performing optical quantum information operations. But the technology brought by Yang Mo can manipulate 200,000 photons at the same time to perform calculations. There are some private matters at home today, so the update is a little late, and there will be a chapter later. Chapter 10 for the idea of 100,000 heavenly soldiers. Compared to traditional computers, quantum computing is a new computing model that follows the laws of quantum mechanics to control quantum information units for calculations. After years of research breakthroughs, China's master of quantum computing is Zhejiang No. 3. It uses the principle of quantum superposition. The number of operations that can be performed exceeds the limits of human imagination. In terms of speed alone, 9 Chapter 3 only relies on 255 light quanta to calculate the most complex sample in 1 microsecond, which would take 20 billion years to complete if replaced by the world's fastest supercomputer. And Yang Mo brought this technology to IT. Already belongs to the ceiling of quantum computing, which can accommodate 200,000 light quanta for calculation at the same time. This technology is so ahead of its time. An old professor in his 70s smiled bitterly, with a somewhat complicated expression. With our country's foundation in the field of quantum computing, it is impossible to use it in a short time. 9 Chapter 3 foot iteration to accommodate 200,000 light quanta at the same time. His name is Sun Changqing. Is a leading domestic leader in the field of optical quantum computing. He was in charge of the research and development work of 9 Chapter 3. Then with today's technology, how many light quanta can be iterated at most? Yang Mo frowned and asked. He knows it too. The integrated quantum computer can calculate the sky, the earth, and the infinity of the universe. Actually, many scientists on Earth have speculated that once humans fully master quantum computer technology, the development of intelligent life will not be far away, and one of the science fiction heavenly plan. It includes the concept of mechanical life and creates the 100,000 heavenly soldiers and 100,000 heavenly generals to protect China. Up to 2,000. Sun Changqing pondered for a moment and gave an upper limit number. There was a pause. He added, although there are only 2,000, the calculation speed of the iterated 9 Chapter 3 will be increased by 8 million times, which should be enough to carry out the task of running the deduction of Thunder God and Lightning Mother. As one of the participants in the project, he has already seen the detailed Thunder God and Lightning Mother plan, and he knows very well why Yang Mo insists on updating iteration 9 Chapter 3.9 Chapter 3 is very awesome, but the operation of Thunder God and Lightning Mother involves a large amount of data deduction. The amount of calculation is huge. Chapter 9 to 3 cannot be completed at all. 8 million times is indeed enough. Yang Mo's expression moved slightly and he nodded. 0.8 million times. In other words, Zhejiang No. 3 needs to calculate and deduce 90 days of data, and it only takes 1 second to complete it after iteration. Its computing power IT will refresh the limits of global science and technology and make it beyond the reach of other countries. How long will it take to complete the iteration? Yang Mo looked at Sun Changqing and asked again. Sun Changqing's eyes became solemn, as if he was quickly calculating the timeline for resource allocation and technology implementation in his mind. After a while, then he slowly spoke, the iteration work is complex and delicate. From hardware upgrades, algorithm optimization to system integration, it will take up to 7 days to complete the entire iteration process. 7 days? Yang Yemo frowned, a trace of eagerness flashed in his eyes. 7 days. He's been waiting, but the people of China may not be able to wait any longer. The iteration of quantum computers is different from the rush of infrastructure projects. Sun Changqing sighed and explained, 7 days is already the fastest speed. He also knows that now the situation in China, all over the country, is flooding, seriously endangering people's safety, but 7 days, this is the maximum time he can give. Actually, he suddenly looked up at Yang Mo and comforted, Dean Yang, you don't have to worry too much, our compatriots are not as fragile as we imagined. Yang Mo was stunned for a moment. Look. Sun Changqing took out a copy of the latest news report and handed it to Yang Mo after participating in the Thunder God and Lightning Mother project. To ensure the safety of the plan, all their electronic communication equipment was turned over, but every day, a special person will send important news reports that happen in the country to the base to let them understand the situation in the outside world. The embankment broke, we held it. Yang Mo took the report with a surprised expression. These days, he has been busy with the Thunder God and Lightning Mother project and has no time to pay attention to domestic trends, but he remembered in the past life, the seventh wheel of husbands came, and the dam also burst under the heavy rain. That time, the whole people also persisted, but failed. The raging flood swept across 5 provinces, causing a large number of casualties, but this time, in the same situation, a miracle happened more. Then 2,000 people from Jiangnan City jumped into the flood and worked in the water. It took 2 days and 2 nights to build an arc-shaped cofferdam. When the lake burst its banks in the upper reaches, residents nearby joined the military to dredge the rivers overnight and blasted open flood diversion roads. People in the 4 downstream counties voluntarily became flood discharge areas. Volunteers from all provinces have come forward to help Jiangnan City. There are more than 100,000 people. Sun Changqing pointed to the report, his face flushed. The more I spoke, the more excited I became. We are not the only ones who can turn the world upside down. This morning, after seeing the news that the embankment breach was repaired successfully, he, as well as the other researchers, almost jumped with excitement. Their compatriots, they are not flowers in a greenhouse. Facing a desperate disaster, countless people stick to their posts, trying to save the day, although he has been staying at the base, but he could imagine it now in China. The whole country is chanting, and 140 million people are chanting, China will always be prosperous. I was wrong. Yang Mo looked at these reports. My heart was shocked and I nodded silently. His compatriots are stronger than he imagined. In this land, miracles often happen. 2 hours later, the meeting is over. As soon as Yang Mo returned to the temporary office, he received good news from Lu Fuyuan of the Monster Research Institute. Great, the technology of automatic beam formation of high-energy particles has also been developed. Yang Mo was overjoyed. Quickly mobilize personnel, deploy tasks, and concentrate on developing high-energy particle pulse devices. The principle of the Thunder God and Lightning Mother project is to use particle technology to interfere with the climate conditions in China. With the help of the butterfly, it can freely control the celestial phenomena within the territory at the minimum cost. Also, although the 004 Rainmaker has been wiped out, mysterious energy still remains in the sky above 2,400 cities in China. It is their existence, the rain will continue. The high-energy particle pulse device can destroy this mysterious energy by crushing energy at the particle level. Everything is ready. After doing all this, Yang Mo took a deep breath. Next, all you need to do is wait patiently and wait for China's third national weapon, Thunder God and Lightning Mother, to come out. Sorry, things were delayed today and the update is late. Normal updates will resume tomorrow. In addition, it has been confirmed that it will be released on the 31st, and 30,000 words will be updated on that day.